जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna and welcome back. Today we are discussing verse number 29 of chapter number 1 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And in the previous verse we see that Arjuna is speaking a series of verses where he is describing his reactions after seeing his relatives in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So the reactions which is or his bodily symptoms are, he describes as limbs are curing and his mouth is driving up. And in this verse he is going to give further symptoms. So let's read the verse. So verse number 29 is Vepatuschcha sarire me रोमहर्षश्च जायते गाण्डीवं स्रंसते हस्तात् त्वक् चैव परिधायते. So Arjuna is saying that my whole body is trembling, right? And my hair is standing on the end. My bow, which is Gandiva, is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. So Arjuna is showing the signs of that he is scared. He is scared of what? He is scared of the blood path and is fearful about the destruction and imminent death of so many of his relatives. And because of the thought of that, his Gandiva is actually slipping from his hand. So we see in lot of times, in the movies, we see that, when some bad news is heard, then, whatever the person is holding, that slips up from their hand, or some other kind of reactions are manifested. Like, somebody gets unconscious when they hear some bad news. So when emotions are very, very strong, we lose control over our physical faculties, and people can also fall unconscious. So this is very terrible for or traumatic for a experienced warrior like Arjuna. His emotions will gradually is actually showing right now uh, through his physical bodily effects. So in a way, Arjuna is telling Krishna through these statements that how seriously he is affected, or how seriously he is overwhelmed by what is going on around him. So a question can be asked that why Arjuna is feeling so. This is not the first time Arjuna has fought any war. He is very much experienced and he has gone through years of training to deal with such kind of war like situation. But we can understand from the previous verse that he is using a word, Swajana. So Swajana means my people. So because he is now identifying the warriors as my people, now his his actually emotions are first affected, and then now his body is showing the effects of the emotion which is going inside his mind. So this kind of uh, thinking people as Swajana is based on the bodily concept of life. So here in the purport also Srila Prabhupada says towards the end about the materialistic conception of life or bodily concept of life. So our first attachment is to our own body, right? We like our own body very much and we like to take care of it also. And then the next level of attachment is for the wife, and then for the children, and for the extended relatives. So Arjuna is feeling this because he is looking at all these warriors in the battlefield of Kurukshetra as my Swajana or Swajana. And this is a totally materialistic attachment. So what is Arjuna going through is going through a conflict between his attachment to his relatives and for his duty as a Kshatriya. So as a Kshatriya, his duty is to establish dharma and to protect the people from the atrocities of Duryodhana and others. But currently his attachment for his own people, no matter how evil they are or whatever they have done to Arjuna and his brothers in the past, his attachment is superseding his duty as a Kshatriya. So when we are overcome by such kind of attachment, it can take over our rationality factor or rational factor. And similarly, we see in our lives also that our attachment to material enjoyment can overtake our duties of life. Like for example, like waking up early in the morning. It's our duty to wake up early in the morning and do whatever material or spiritual duties we need to perform. But because of our attachment to sleep, we can't wake up in the morning. Similarly, for the students, their duty is to study. But because of their attachment to gadgets and video games and playing, etc., they give up their study and then they engage in those activities which give them temporary enjoyment. So this conflict between attachment and duties, we need to become aware of. It's a very important thing to be aware of. And this is what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us over here. Otherwise, what will happen? Otherwise, we will usually end up making a wrong decision. So this is what Arjuna is going through in these verses. This is what has been discussed in these verses. So first point is about the attachment of Arjuna, and the next point we can discuss is about the Gandiva bow. So Gandiva bow was a very special bow. This special bow, we learn about Gandiva from Mahabharata and other scriptures. It is given that originally this Gandiva bow, Brahmaji had it, right? And over here we see the previous owners. Brahmaji used to have this bow for 1,000 celestial years. Then he gave it to Indra, and then for certain number of years, and then it went to Chandra, the moon god, and then from moon god it went to Varuna Dev, and then finally Varuna Dev, after using for some time, he gifted it to Arjuna along with that chariot. So we saw that the chariot was given by Agni Dev, and this bow or the Gandiva bow was given to Arjuna by Varuna. It was such a special bow that only handful of people could handle this, like Bhishma or Drona or even Karna, and even Bhima could lift it up, but it was not possible for everyone to handle this particular bow. And because this was given to this Gandiva was given to Arjuna, Arjuna is sometimes called as Gandivi. It was called as Gandivi. And along with the bow, then there were 2 cures also given, and that could generate unlimited number of arrows. It will never get empty. So this was the boon given to Arjuna. So we can see that that Arjuna had all the best of the weapons, because he also went to the Devata Loka, the planets of the demigods, and he collected all kind of weapons which could be used in the battlefield. But at this point of time, we see that Arjuna is overwhelmed with emotions and he is not ready to fight. He's going to give reasons for why he's not ready to fight. So let's see what Srila Prabhupada has to say in the purport about these symptoms. So Prabhupada says that Arjuna's bodily symptoms are due to his material conditions or material conditioning which is going through, right? So there are 2 kinds of trembling. So this trembling, body of trembling, hair standing on the end, Gandiva sleeping, skin burning. So these are the symptoms which is manifested on the body of Arjuna. So these symptoms, Prabhupada is saying that there are 2 kinds of trembling of the body, the 2 kinds of standing of the hair on the end, right? This happens due to what? Such phenomena occurs either in a great spiritual ecstasy or out of great fear under material conditions. So this can happen either due to the spiritual ecstasy, when somebody is spiritual in the spiritual platform and he is relishing spiritual emotions, then somebody can show this kind of symptoms. But Prabhupada further says that there is no fear in transcendental realization. So when somebody is experiencing spiritual ecstasy, then actually there is no cause of fear. So in Arjuna's case, so Arjuna's symptom in this situation are out of material fear, namely loss of life. So this is not a spiritual emotion which Arjuna is manifesting. He is manifesting these emotions out of fear. And what is happening is great fear and material condition that is causing these symptoms to be manifested. Fear due to loss of life. And this is the material conception of life. So this is the last statement Prabhupada is going to explain over here. So this is evident from the other symptoms. This is evident from the other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow of Gandiva, which we had already discussed, was slipping from his hands. And because his heart was burning within him, he was feeling burning sensation of the skin. And all these are due to material conception of life. So all this manifestation of symptoms on his body, external manifestations, Prabhupada is saying this is due to material conception of life. So we have heard this word material conception of life many times. So what does this mean? So material conception of life is nothing but when we see that we are nothing but a product of matter, or when we think ourselves only as a product of matter and we see ourselves as a body and we identify everything around us in connection with us. So that is actually material conception of life. And in the material conception of life, the ultimate goal is only material pleasure. That is enjoyment, material enjoyment. And that is achieved through our senses. So any kind of pleasure around us, which is matter, we try to enjoy with our senses. So this is actually material conception of life. There is no knowledge of spiritual science in the material conception of life. So in that situation, person wants to enjoy through his body. So Prabhupada over here is attributing all this, what Arjuna is experiencing is due to the material conception of life. It is interesting that in previous purport, Srila Prabhupada said that Arjuna is a pure devotee. And whatever symptoms of compassion he is showing is a sign of a pure devotee. So when we read the scriptures, we need to understand that the emphasis, whatever events that are happening, we have to learn certain lessons from that. So here we see that this is happening in Lord's pastime. Arjuna is a devotee of a Lord. So Lord, at one level it is true that everything is happening in the pastime is orchestrated by the Lord himself. And then the devotees are exhibiting all these exalted qualities. And it is also to be understood that Arjuna is a pure devotee. And by the arrangement of the Lord, Arjuna is coming under illusion and now acting like a conditioned soul. So the philosophical point we can learn from this, that he is acting like a conditioned soul. He is not actually a conditioned soul, but he is acting like a conditioned soul. And in this, he is manifesting the bodily concept of life. So there are two things. In the previous verse, he is manifesting the exalted qualities. And here Prabhupada is saying that all these are due to material conception of life. because he is now acting under that. So Arjuna is manifesting whatever a materialist experience to teach us that, how attachment can overcome even a great person like Arjuna. So this is being talked about over here. And the Acharyas say that, the purpose of chapter 1 is to demonstrate the need of spiritual knowledge, and also it gives what is a qualification required to receive such spiritual knowledge. So Arjuna's qualification, Arjuna is a right candidate to receive this spiritual knowledge, right? So why somebody needs spiritual knowledge? Because when one is in the bodily conception of life, right, only thinks like he is the body, then what one will eventually, maybe not now, but eventually the time will come that the person will get bewildered, because material nature acts in such a way that it will cause that soul to be bewildered. And if one doesn't want to be bewildered, then one has to rise to the higher level of consciousness. Now, how do we rise to the higher level of consciousness? So, in order to rise to the higher level of consciousness, one has to receive spiritual knowledge. And if we have to receive spiritual knowledge, then we need to be qualified. So, what is that qualification? So, that qualification is described in the previous verse that Arjuna, Srila Prabhupada has given in the purport, that Arjuna was soft-hearted and he was thoughtful, he was compassionate, and on top of it he was submissive. And because of that submissiveness, Arjuna is going to surrender to Krishna to receive the spiritual knowledge. He is going to give his arguments in this verse. He is going to give his reasons why he should not fight. But ultimately, he surrenders. So that's why, we discussed this point yesterday, that about Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Why this chapter is called as Arjuna Vishada Yoga? Because his Vishada, his lamentation, became the cause for surrendering to Krishna. And he could surrender because he is having this quality of submissiveness. So this is must. This is must. So though Arjuna is manifesting all these good qualities, if he doesn't have submissiveness, then he cannot surrender to Krishna. And if somebody doesn't surrender to Krishna, then the knowledge will not be received. So these are some great points we need to think about and actually cultivate in our life. It's not just think about, but the scriptures are there to give us an understanding, and then we need to contemplate on these points, right? And contemplate on these points that, sometime or other, eventually in our life, we will be bewildered. If we don't take shelter of the scriptures, then we will easily be succumb to our emotions, and our emotions will overpower us, and we will not be able to perform our duties, what we need to do. So this is what is Bhagavad Gita teaching us, that no matter under what circumstances we are, we need to perform our duty, right? And act that way. So we'll stop here and continue our discussion in the future verses. So thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.